Hey everybody, it's Master Gallengeist here, bringing you my review for Captain America Symbol of Truth, Issue 11. Yeah, that's a kind of nutty cover because Sam is definitely going after White Wolf in this one, and this is a pretty good issue. I do like how they do the fight with Sam and White Wolf, and kind of how they also explore White Wolf's objectives and everything. So let's get into it. So we've pretty much seen that Joaquin had been taken out of action, and Sam is like, I'm going after White Wolf. So we see that he's pretty much in his White Wolf regalia, talking about how we've arrived at the end, and hoping that he sees that Sam's crusade is meaningless, as we see that the White Wolf had taken out the rest of those that had gone to Parliament, and that he's emerged from the shadows, the hunt has ended at last, it's time for the kill. And Nomad asks him how he wants to handle it. You go high, I go low. And Sam's like, nope, he's mine. And he then charges in, pretty much saying he's going to rip him to pieces. And I really like a cool kind of thing that they do in this, in utilizing the panel with the kind of sound effects. It was something that I really hadn't seen done before, and it's really kind of cool to see it done this way. And it adds kind of like more action and kind of flow to the combat that goes on in here, because the action scenes have a great flow here, and you really feel Sam and White Wolf fighting here. And he's like, alright, good luck trying to hit what you can't see, as he's got cloaking technology, and he pretty much elbows Sam in the back of the head. And Sam's like telling him to stop running and everything, and we just see White Wolf just crack on him with that, and it's like, holy crap. It's like, holy shit. He's like, come now, Captain America. The hunt is so much more fun, as he pretty much throws him into a building. It's like, god damn. I know, like, I didn't know, like, the level of strength that White Wolf has. Throughout this has been my first pretty much experience with him as a character. I thought of him as more of a kind of cerebral one, but he definitely has, if not T'Challa level kind of strength, at least somewhere comparable to it, to toss someone into a building like that. And Sam's, of course, like, I gotta get out of here. Like, Red Wing would have been really helpful to deal with his cloaking and everything. And White Wolf's telling him not to hold back like he did against T'Challa, and that he's not his brother, as he's pretty much trying to rip into him. And he's like, no, you aren't, as Sam pretty much gets behind him, even though he, like, see, because White Wolf kind of, like, goes and, like, crashes into him tackle style, but Sam's able to kind of reverse it in midair, which the air is where he's pretty much home. He's like, I fought the Black Panther with no suit and no shield. Just imagine what I'm going to do to you, as he pretty much drags him along the ground and then bashes him in the face, and it rips part of his mask away. And utilizing the shield pretty well, White Wolf kind of dodges it and says, oh, you're going to have to do better than that. And then the shield catches him. And he's like, never met a wolf that talked as much as you. It's like, yeah? Get that, Sam. Get that. And of course, he's trying to be like, let me remove the scales from your eyes, Sam. And he's like, I can see just fine. You're a terrorist and a war criminal. You think you're the smartest guy in the room, and that we're all your puppets, but you will never win. It's like, yeah, Sam calls him completely on all this kind of shit. It's because you see that in how White Wolf has operated up into this point. It's like he's doing all this shady kind of shit, and we see Sam just pretty much like laying into him, putting him into a position where he can utilize his abilities more effectively, and pretty much utilizes the shield to knock down like this crumbling infrastructure on top of him, as he then picks up the shield, and White Wolf blasts out saying that he's wrong. If I don't destroy you, I'll at least destroy what you represent. Racial reconciliation. Homeland. And this is where we start getting into his philosophy while he's fighting. And that he says that the idea that you can live peacefully alongside those you look nothing like is an illusion. And you see, Captain America, you will never, ever win against that. It's like, okay, so that's what he's kind of doing. And you see that in what he's been trying to kind of do, and he kind of explains himself. Now, granted, I could understand this as being a plot info dump, but it's helpful for those who have not been as versed with his lore and everything going on, and it helps explains his motivations for what he's kind of doing here in this page as they're kind of struggling, saying that Wakanda's eating itself alive. Do you really think your people would find a home among such an arrogant, xenophobic society? He was Wakanda's greatest patriot, and they rejected him. Now, granted, this is his view of things, of how they've gone on. Saying that he was supposed to be the true regent of Wakanda, that they chose T'Challa the runt. As you can see, he definitely has a lot of fucking baggage that has definitely colored his worldview to do shitty things. It's like, alright. I was like, if you could look at T'Challa and be like, the runt, it's like, really? Alright. No, but okay. And then, of course, bringing up, as the leader of the Hatut Zaraz, he fought for Wakanda, killed for Wakanda. He loved his country, and they expelled him for it. It's like, you probably did shitty things and were a shitty dude. No matter if you love your country, if you do shitty things and that are pretty much detrimental to your country and to other people, fuck you. And then he's trying to pretty much, still within this fight, he's trying to beat Sam, but he's also trying to kind of get him to his side. He's like, you think you are America's greatest patriot? It's like, Sam tries to be the best person that he can be, but he has never in his mind been like, I'm the greatest patriot. It's like, you've already, like, whiffed in your your emotional appeal to him on that. You think your country, you love your country, but they will punish you for who you are. Your country will reject you. And then Sam's like, no, and then, like, cracks, I think he, like, breaks his wrist or his arm, says no, and then fucking slams him into the ground. It's like, god damn. And then he just starts wailing on him, saying that he's wrong. Now, granted, I understand why we're going this route kind of with Sam, because of all the shit that he's kind of gone through, all the shit that White Wolf has done at this point. I'm glad that Nomad's there, which is interesting because he's more of the Wetworks person telling Sam to stop. And he's like, you'll kill him. And he's like, why shouldn't I? After everything he's done, using African Americans as chemical weapons, that's fucked up. And yeah. Killing their hope for a safe and hopeful future in Wakanda, starting a civil war that destroyed his own country, turning Falcon into that monster. Why shouldn't I? I'm like, but that's the thing. If you kill him, you do the same things as him and continue on that cycle. You can be better. And of course, that happens out here, where Ayanda is like, you wield the shield, you hold the shield because you're Captain America. That is the responsibility of wielding the shield. And it's not that Sam has lost, he has lost focus of that because of his emotions and everything that's been going on and being in this battle, but this helps to, like, get him back to his senses. It's like, yeah, White Wolf's been defeated. He will pay for his crimes. The International Criminal Court will be waiting for him. And as for her country, we will rebuild. All of us will. The Wakanda Forever movement wasn't just about Wakanda, Sam. We will make our home where we can. We can be Prime Minister Shanlin's dream. And that's an important bit. You can be better, you can hold them accountable, and you can stop them when they do this kind of shit. That's what wielding the shield means, and fighting and being inspired by people that do those kind of things, like Ayande and her rebel forces trying to protect Mohanda. And then we see reinforcements are coming, but they are with them. Ours, coalition forces from our allies to the east. The dream is real, Captain America, as we see people getting helped and everything. It's like, yeah, all right. And then we see Joaquin, and we see that a medical person's like, he's healing quickly, but he asked to be sedated. And Joaquin's like, Sam, and we get I like this. This is a nice emotional thing. And we see Sam saying that I'm here, buddy. And Joaquin's like, I know, Sam, as they're crying. And it's like, I think that's powerful. I don't care that people can call that sappy, but they've fought with each other. They're partners. They're buddies. And they're glad that each other is okay and haven't done any more kind of horrible shit. So then we get to Harlem, and We see that Sam's pretty much talking to Misty, being like, I know why you work alone now. Pretty much. Falcon told me that he knew I didn't abandon him to die on the steps of the UN. He said this is what he signed up for, but I let this happen to him, Misty. And that's the thing, when you're in these kind of positions, that it'll be interesting to see. I do like Sam talking to Misty about this stuff, but I would also like him to talk to Steve, because this is a very similar kind of thing. He's like, I'm responsible for him. He knew what he signed up for, but I let that happen to him. He's receiving treatment now. His grandmother and cousin are with him. Wanted to be surrounded by loved ones. He thought he killed them. Turns out now it's them bringing him back to life. It's a very confusing time for him. And it's like, yeah, that... I'm just glad he didn't kill anybody, and I know that he's like thinking, I did this, but he didn't. And I love how Misty's like, one of these days we're going to have a nice romantic night on a Harlem rooftop, and you're not going to feel sorry for yourself. Granted, Misty has a point, but Sam has gone through some crazy-ass motherfucking shit. I mean, vibranium people bombs, Joaquin going kind of vampire out and thinking he killed his family. That's a lot of heavy shit. Now, granted, you usually want to be careful when you're venting like that on a date, but you know what I mean? I kind of like where she's like, yeah. And he's like, what? Joaquin's right. This is the superhero business. Look down there. You did good. And we see that the dream lives. Johnny's dream is alive. Peace in Mohanda as people are celebrating the end of the Civil War. And it's like, yeah. I do like that Sam's like, okay, I did things and I need to do better, but yet he also has to take stock and understand that he had a victory here. A good victory, too. And then we see Misty being like, I take back what I said, giving these people a home, getting them to come together to rebuild the paradise they've been dreaming of. That is kind of romantic. And this time was a date, as they kiss, as everything's going all crazy. It's like, all right. And I don't mind Sam and Misty together, if we go that route. Now, granted, it's... Misty's kind of a lone wolf, kind of, usually, but I would like to see how this kind of works out. And if I would like to see them, Sam and Misty, doing kind of partner stuff in future kind of arcs, to see how their team dynamic works. And then I love that we kind of get towards the end, and we get some stuff of leaning towards the future, and we see that Nomad's like, yeah, we make a great team when I'm not getting my throat cut. Progress, Ian, not perfection. And I'm like, it's interesting. I love that we've got Ian back and we're seeing their dynamic. It's not that I usually really like Sam and Joaquin. They're Cap and Falcon. They work very well. But I like what I'm seeing with the dynamic here. I love the kind of sassiness that we get when they kind of get together, which is kind of different than Sam and Joaquin. I'm glad that they're not like carbon copied of each other, where it's like interchangeable. You just slot in Joaquin. They have very different dynamics. Not to get all serious, but you taught me something hearing what White Wolf said. Seeing you challenge it like that, seeing what's come of it, it taught me that you can run through the difficult thing and come out the other end in one piece. What's that mean? It means it's time for me to do the difficult thing. Been putting it off long enough. It's time for me to see Dad. When you do, tell Steve I said hi. And I'm like, yay! Thank you, Ian, for realizing that you've been putting that off. Now, granted, most of the time, all I knew is that, like, Ian had his throat slit, and then he disappeared for fuck all, so it's more than like, I don't know what we need to do with this dude. And now we're, like, gonna see what they're gonna do with him, and I'm like, hey, thank you, because Steve raised you. I really liked that introduction from the Dimension Z story arc, and wanted to see more of what Steve would do with Ian, not that he would just fucking disappear. So hopefully this leads to other things where Ian is actively more utilized within the Captain America series, like Symbol of Truth with Sam and Joaquin popping up with Steve and whatnot. Fuck, it would be kind of cool to see a Nomad series. Now, granted, I know that there's not enough build-up at this point, but there's a lot of interesting stuff that you could do with him, since, I mean, who would have thought that we would bring Bucky back alive and do his shit with the Winter Soldier, and then even see what's going on with that? So, a Nomad series done well, seeing him, who's been taught by Steve Rogers, who's partnered with Sam Wilson, how he does his things, what he does. So I'm glad that he's going to be talking to Steve, and we'll see what's going on next in Captain America Cold War. And it's like, alright. And I love that we got this kind of thing that gives us an idea of what's going on with this, and that we're going to be getting the Cold War Alpha, and that will be, well, we've got Sentinel of Liberty 11 next, and then we've got the Cold War Alpha, and then we've got the rest going within there, and then we get Omega. Like, it's going to be interesting to see how this event goes. I'm glad that it's not also doing separately, and then you have to get all these other kind of other things. You get a one-shot that kind of introduces stuff of what's going on with the Cold War, and then you have it happening in both of the books, and then you've got an Omega End one. I think that's a better kind of way, and hopefully it works out better. Because, granted, there are things that I'm like, oh, this could work out well, and then it's executed like, holy God, what the fuck? So, we'll see kind of what goes on with that. I liked seeing Sam take on White Wolf and pretty much repudiate his whole kind of scheme, and I'm glad that we had an explanation of how he kind of views things and everything. Now granted, I can understand that people would be like, this is a plot info dump, this could have been handled better, and I can understand that. I kind of needed it to understand his character more since I'm not that well versed with him. I do like that they were able to intertwine it enough with the action, and also seeing the differences in fighting styles, because action scenes by themselves, just senseless action, okay, yeah, that's good for spectacle. When it sees how it's informed by characters, White Wolf utilizing cloaking technology to hide in the shadows and strike like a white wolf, like just out of nowhere, just like boom. And Sam utilizing his wings and flying around, and his kind of different kind of combat style than what Steve would do, or Nomad would do, or Bucky would do. That's the cool stuff, and I like seeing that stuff go around. So I really like this. I really liked that we were able to get a conclusion, actually get some kind of resolution as well, leading into the Cold War aspect, and I just can't wait to see where it's going to go next. So, those are my opinions on the issue. Tell me what you guys think in the comments below. If you liked it, if you didn't like it, if you agree with me, if you disagree with me. Also, like and subscribe, and I hope you have a good day.